Welcome to your new Mila-Wall Series 100 system, the strongest and most flexible temporary wall system in the industry. This video will show you a complete 5-panel build. It is important to note that you must always start with building a corner so that the panels will be supported properly. With your panels laying on the floor, begin by unscrewing all of the feet until they are about 1 inch below each panel. You can adjust these later with the use of the leveling disc or a 13mm open-ended wrench. Next, you must prepare the first panel with the hardware needed for its connections. In our first wall, we will be adding a 90-degree corner profile to one edge. Note that this process would be exactly the same if we were adding any other type of corner profile. To do this, you will first need to locate the 2 set screws, which are hidden underneath the surface covering in the corners of the panel. First measure 2.5 inches down and 1.25 inches from the side, and then apply pressure with your finger until you see a dimple where the set screw is located beneath the surface covering. Next, insert the pins of the corner profile into the receiving holes of the panel edge until it is flush. Make sure that the remaining pins are positioned correctly for the wall you will be adding next. Then, push your 3mm hex screwdriver through the dimple, through the covering, and tighten. Don't worry about puncturing the covering, because we will be covering the hole later on in this process. Repeat this process for the hidden set screw at the top of the panel. Again, even though there are set screws on both sides of the panel, you only need to tighten the 2 set screws on one side. Lift up the first panel with a partner, and have a third person hold the panel in place while you get the second panel ready. Prepare your second panel with the needed outgoing connection hardware. In our case, since our second panel will continue straight to a third panel, our second panel will have a groove and a bottom panel fastener on the outgoing side. Lift up the second panel, and with both panels upright on their feet, join the second panel to the corner profile until it is flush. Then, tighten the 3mm hidden set screws located underneath the surface covering at the top and bottom, as you did on the previous panel. You have now completed building the first 2 panels into a corner configuration. Now, we're ready to add a straight panel. First, you must prepare the panel with the hardware needed for its connections. Remember that when connecting panels in a straight line, the outgoing panel edge will always have a groove and a bottom panel fastener, while the incoming panel edge will have a tongue and top panel fastener. Also note that there is a copper bolt stored at the top of each panel for you to use when you lock the panels together. This copper bolt is a reminder that when you dismantle the walls, you only need to remove the copper bolt and place it back in its original position. No other bolts or hardware need to be removed in order to dismantle. In this example, we will be adding 2 straight panels to a corner panel. First, lift up the incoming panel with a partner and align the incoming tongue with the outgoing groove. Then, with one person lifting from the bottom and one guiding into position, lift the panel high enough for the panel fasteners to clear, and with the panels flush, lower the incoming panel. Next, using a ladder and the 8mm hex screwdriver, unscrew the copper bolt from the incoming panel and then insert it into the outgoing panel to lock the panels in place. Next, we will add another straight wall to our configuration. However, the panel we have does not have any hardware on the incoming edge. Therefore, we need to add both the tongue and the top panel fastener. To add the tongue, position the panel on its side with the incoming edge facing up, and then slide the tongue into the edge channel. Once centered, screw in both of the set screws using a 3mm hex screwdriver. Next, attach the top panel fastener using an 8mm hex screwdriver. Once the panel is prepared, lift up the incoming panel with a partner and align the incoming tongue with the outgoing groove. Then, with one person lifting from the bottom and one guiding into position, lift the panel high enough for the panel fasteners to clear, and with the panels flush, lower the incoming panel. Again, using a ladder and the 8mm hex screwdriver, unscrew the copper bolt from the incoming panel and then insert it into the outgoing panel to lock the panels in place. Next, we will add a 90-degree corner profile by simply inserting it into the 2 receiving holes on the outgoing edge, and we will lock the corner profile in place by once again locating and tightening the 2 set screws hidden beneath the surface covering. Then you can lift up the incoming panel and join the panel to the corner profile until it is flush. Then, once again, locate and tighten the 3mm hidden set screws located underneath the surface covering at the top and bottom. Your 5-panel Mila-Wall design is now assembled. Just a reminder that the corner process would have been exactly the same if you were using any of the corner profiles, such as the 135-degree corner or the rotating corner.